All right.
What is good people? You are now listening to another episode of Since We Last Spoke with Danny Foxworth. I am your humble narrator, Danny Foxworth, and today we have an extremely special guest. She hails from Monetta, South Carolina. She's many things to many people. She's a wife, she's a mother, she's a songstress, she's a mover and shaker around Chucktown. She's a Wild Wing North Charleston alumni. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Aisha Kenyetta in the building. Aisha, how are you this evening?
I am absolutely wonderful, Danny. Thank you so much for inviting me on. I am looking forward to talking to you tonight.
Man, I'm glad you could be on. So, first things first, I want to talk about what happened a couple of weeks ago when I was just sitting in the house eating my dinner, flipping through the channels, and I flipped it to Fox. It was Don't Forget the Lyrics, and I didn't think anything of it. Wasn't really focused on it at first because I was going back and forth between the TV and the laptop. Then when I turned my head back to the TV, I was like, nah, that ain't who I think it is. And then she got up on stage and grabbed the mic. I was like, you gotta be joking me. That is who I think it is. So how did you land that spot in Don't Forget the Lyrics?
You know, that whole experience was wild. We it you can't, as you can tell, I'm speechless. I mean, there was never a time in my mind that being on a game show was on my bingo card. Um, Manny and I are good friends, and we play gigs together and all that. And then he just asked me one day, we were on a show, and he says, do you have your passport? And I said, yeah. And he says, well, do you want to go to Ireland? And I'm, hell yeah, I want to go to Ireland. And so then he says, well, I'm going to be on this game show. If you've ever heard of Don't Forget the Lyrics. And I'm like, oh, absolutely. I love that show. And so he's within 30 minutes, I'm on the phone with a producer, and they're asking me questions. And the next night they interview me on a Zoom meeting. And it's just moving so fast. And I mean, I went from March 15th being asked, do you have a passport and would you like to go to Ireland, to March 25th on a plane flying to Ireland to film this show with Manny.
Wow.
And I mean, Ireland, Guinness and Jameson, and you know, it it's everything you've thought of minus the leprechauns. I mean, it's amazing. It's green. It is the greenest green I've ever seen in my life. It's green. It really is green.
That's funny.
It was, yeah. So it was absolutely amazing. Taping day was fun. They sequestered us, no mobile phones, no any kind of electronics. They wouldn't even let us like sing songs or hum music in
Oh
the
wow.
room with every, which for me that's hard. I mean, how often do I in a song for anything? So that was hard. So I took a paperback book and read it in one day.
And so when they called you up on stage, what did that feel like to you?
At first I was annoyed with Manny, let's be honest, because he and I had already had this conversation about what my strong points were and what his strong points were. And I said, today's hits, I'm not as strong on. This fool picks Katy Perry because he knows Katy Perry. He tells everybody that he knows Katy Perry. I don't know Katy Perry. And so I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, please don't call me up. Please don't call me up. Because he used his 3 lifelines on a song that I actually knew.
Oh no.
The time to call me up. But I mean, I don't know. Spoiler alert, it did win 25 grand, which is great, but we could have gone so much further. But it was still a lot of fun just meeting Nisi and being on the set and the band and everything. Like, I mean, it's a once in a lifetime experience.
Man, that's so dope that you got to experience that. Man, I tell you, that was so cool to just to see. I was like, I know her.
And the hardest part is having to not talk about it. So this happened in the end of March, and we didn't air, I think, until mid-May.
Hmm.
We couldn't talk about it at all.
So like
To
you had to sign an NDA?
Yeah, so
Okay.
you basically, if they find out you've said anything on social media, or if you talked about it to anybody and anybody finds out like what's gonna happen, like you can forfeit your winnings.
Oh, yeah, that ain't good.
No, no. So, you don't want to see your check walk away.
Right.
So, and I can't hold water in a bucket. So I trying to not say anything. And people are like, oh, you went out of town. What'd you go out of town for? Nothing. Oh, okay. And the few people that did know I went out of town, what I went for, did you win? You have to wait and see. That was hard. I'm kind of like making like little gestures with my eyeballs. Like,
Yeah.
how do you say $25,000 with your eyes?
Oh, that's awesome. So I want to take it back to the very beginning. Growing up in Monetta, South Carolina, what was that like?
It is every stereotype, good and bad, of the small town. The small town life. We did not even have a caution light in my town. You did not come home with less than a quarter of a tank of gas because you had to drive at least 10 miles to the closest gas station.
Mm.
Um, I graduated with 62 people. I think if you look up Monetta right now on Wikipedia, it says there's like 242 people in the town, and it's like point 0.3 square miles
Wow.
of, I mean, I'm talking really, really small town. Um, everybody, everyone knows you, um, and you are, I guess, basically, you are your parents' children. Um, it is, it's that small town part where it's really hard to make a name for yourself, to
Hmm.
stand out. It's already been established that you are your parents' child, and so um, people tend to try to pave a path for you based on that information.
Hmm.
Um, and so when you do decide to maybe veer off that path a little bit, um, you're the talk of the town. You're wayward. So, and then on top of all of that, not only did I grow up in a small town where I'm related to 90% of the people in the town, I am also a preacher's kid.
Mm.
So compound the small town gossips and all of that with being a preacher's kid, then you know, things got kind of dicey in there for a while. You have to be so careful, like you have to tread so lightly, because God forbid you're a harlot, and and then, because they actually still use words like harlot in my town.
Yeah, so you just
Scarlet letter.
yeah, so you just got just walking the tightrope.
Yes, yes, yes. You've got to be the you're the good, you're either the good girl or the bad girl. There's no in between. And there's no, oh well, maybe she made a bad decision here, but she's redeemed herself. No, you have to be perfect. You have to be perfect, like with no stain, no spot or wrinkle. So I was very, very relieved when I left Monetta.
So, when did you realize that you had a musical gift?
Um, so my whole family on my daddy's side is musically inclined. They all sing or play an instrument. So I have always known that I could sing and that I could, enter. I guess let me backtrack. I always knew I could sing. I never knew that I could entertain. Um,
Got you.
I, I grew up knowing I could sing. I could sing as soon as I could talk because that's what we did. We went to church and we sang, and we sat around the dinner table and we sang, and we played on the playground and we sang. I mean, I can remember doing three-part harmony in kindergarten. It's we sing. That's just what we do. Our family, that they're just talented that way. It wasn't until um I got into my teens that I realized that um I could entertain and that I enjoyed entertaining people. You don't really get to entertain in church per se.
Yeah.
You're doing the Lord's work in church, and it's not um it's not about getting the people up on their feet, but you do realize that after certain songs and certain deliveries get the people up and they get people off their feet, and you realize, I like this. I like doing this. I love the way this makes me feel. And just realizing that I had, a little more of a knack for the entertainment side and wanting to pursue that more, um, made me just kind of start just testing the waters and seeing, what's out there. There was a a back and forth with my parents as a teenager, because they didn't want me to sing outside of the church. Like, you're not going to be a juke joint singer. You're not,
Hmm.
not going to be any Suge Avery's in this house. So you're not going to be a lounge singer, and so that was something that I kept in for a while until I got actually until I got out of college. When I moved to Charleston is when I finally had the opportunity to really, say, I'm gonna try this thing and see if it works. And here we are today. I mean, I love it. And we my parents and I, we butted heads a lot early, until they got to actually see me perform.
Nice, nice. So, do you remember your first gig in Charleston?
Yes. So my first gig in Charleston was at Red's Ice House.
Okay.
I had some friends that were playing at Red's, and the lead singer, her voice went out.
Oh,
Like, she was singing, and then she kept saying that she didn't feel well, and I was just there, hanging with the friends. As a matter of fact, Tony Coben, he's a Cooper Store,
Long Ridge all day. That's family.
Long Ridge family. I was there, hanging out with them, and she said, "I can't finish this gig." And they were like, "Well, we don't know what to do. We're not really sure." And Tony said, "Aisha can do it." And I, like, is there another Aisha here? Like, because I mean, I can sing and I'll do a song here or there, but you want me to do the rest of the gig. And they were like, "Yeah, you can do it. You know all the songs. You can." And I did it. And from that point on, I started getting calls, to fill in and do gigs here and there, do weddings and events, and here we are. I mean, it just blew up from there.
Yeah, talent speaks for itself.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. I won't lie, I was scared, but I did
But
it.
you took the step and look where it got you.
Yeah,
So I see
yeah.
you just recently finished your residency at the Commodore. How did you get that residency?
So a lot of my friends that I do the wedding events with, we're a wedding band collective. So we put different groups of people together all the time. And
Okay.
when the Commodore opened, he wanted a certain type of music in there. He wanted live music, and he wanted um, not just like the newer hits today's, but he wanted it to be he wanted the Stevie and the Michael and all of that kind of music in there. And he called us and asked us to kind of help build a clientele since we had a following already.
Mm-hmm.
And at the very beginning, I was playing 4 nights a week there.
Wow.
And yeah, it was intense, but it was a lot of fun. I watched it grow, um, from this kind of speakeasy to this amazing dance club that is still bringing in live music. They're bringing in local people to perform every week. And then they'll still have like Tedeschi Trucks Band or CeeLo Green will show up and DJ there, or but they're committed to live music and the local artists around town. So um I played there 6 or 7 years, and
Wow.
yeah, it's been amazing. So last week, my last Thursday, and I made it through until the very last song, and then the tears came. And but it was they have always supported me, even outside of their club. They've supported me if I need to take headshots or I need pictures for something. Hey, can I come use the club as my backdrop? Absolutely. I've held meetings there. Um, they have come to shows in other buildings to support me.
That's
So,
awesome.
so those guys, Commodore is will always have a special place for me.
So what's next for Aisha in the singing circuit?
So I mean, I'm still, doing Motown Throwdown. That's probably the busiest I am right now. Motown Throwdown at the Poorhouse, and then I'm also doing the wedding scene, which right now is starting to die down as it gets warmer, and then it'll pick back up again in September. But I'm writing. I'm writing a little bit.
Okay.
Just kind of putting some thoughts on paper, and I'd like to, put out some original music. So
Oh,
that's what I'm working on. I've got one song under my belt so far,
okay.
and hoping I can release that as a single here before the end of the year. And then just add to it.
I like it. I like it. Man, that's awesome. You just stepping out on your own and just, getting out of your comfort zone, so to speak.
Yes, yes. It is definitely getting out of the comfort zone. You get comfortable with everything that you do, and then I've been singing cover songs, I've been singing other people's music,
Mm-hmm.
and now I am telling my own story, and that's a level of vulnerability that I haven't had to express,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's definitely outside of my comfort zone.
Man, and you stepping out of your comfort zone, it seems to be pretty advantageous for you so far. So
Yeah,
I think that's it's gonna keep being successful. I believe in you.
thank you, I appreciate that, from your mouth to God's ears.
There you go. So now we're going to get into the 5 question segment. So the 5 question segment is the first and last question I ask every guest I have on here, and questions 2 through 4 are 100% random. So, question number 1: what were the ideal items on Aisha's school lunch tray?
The rectangle pizza, the honey bun, or I don't know if it was a honey bun. It was a cinnamon roll. I think it was a cinnamon roll.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the chocolate milk. I was team chocolate milk. And then so my background on the lunch tray, the lunch ladies, two of the lunch ladies were family members of mine.
Okay.
One was my grandma's sister, and the other one was my granddad's sister-in-law.
Wow.
Um, so I always went back after lunch and ate lunch again.
There you go. Take advantage. Strike while the iron is hot. I respect it.
Yes. And, when I say, and I said that to say that my last item on that tray is collard greens, because they were not school lunch collard greens. These were collard greens that your auntie made, and that put the little hot peppers on, and like real collard greens with the bacon in it and all that.
Y'all had collard greens in Ridge Spring, Monetta?
Spring Monetta, we had collard greens.
Wow.
Had collard
Man, that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Question number two.
Okay.
Question number two. What is your biggest pet peeve?
You're gonna laugh at me so much. Putting dishes in the sink while I'm washing dishes.
Ooh.
Don't
I'm guilty. I'm guilty.
Yeah. If I'm standing there washing dishes, let me scoop right by you and bloop. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I will turn everything over. Like, do not put anything in the sink while I'm washing. Put it on the side. And because I've got a system going on.
Yeah.
The side, you could say, and thank you for watching it. That's cool, but don't plop it down in the water while I wash dishes.
Yeah, I was notorious for doing that as a kid. I used to piss my mom off.
Yes, yes. Don't, don't you see me standing here?
All right, question number three. What is let's say a eatery back home in Monetta that you would recommend?
So now that the eatery that I loved growing up was this place called Granny's. Granny was a little mom and pop restaurant. She made the best burgers. Like, I mean, I would dump my mama's empty pocketbooks out to get all the quarters up to go get burger from Granny. And I mean, two hamburgers with the juice, you know, and she had breakfast, she had hot food, she had like onion sausage, and she had corned beef and grits, and she would make you pancakes on the griddle. Whatever you wanted, Granny would make it for you. Granny passed away, I guess, about 10 years ago. And if I could go back and just have one burger from Granny, I would be happy. I'll be happy. And now, all we have a gas station now,
Okay.
and Dollar General. My daddy called me to give me that news when that that was just wonderful news when we got the Dollar General. But we got a gas station. We got Hunt Brothers Pizza,
Okay.
which does go hard in the paint.
It
when you
does. I can't even lie, it does. So what would you get on your burger?
So I'm a very picky eater. I would get bacon, mayo, lettuce, and pickles and cheese.
Can't go wrong with that.
So,
All right, question number four. Which one would you prefer? The total Can't You See or the Dru Hill In My Bed remix?
the In My Bed remix. What do you want? What else
do you need?
Listen, that you my world. Listen, that yeah.
But you
It's a trend.
still ran out on me.
I got
Different
stupid.
color whips. I got plenty big hair. Oh, don't get me
I
started.
like to complete if I ain't got no buzz. It can't
Can't
no
nobody do it like we does. Good call.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
100%. Question number 5. What was the last thing that made you laugh uncontrollably?
Okay, so one of my boys, um, not the one that's walking in the room right now while I'm working, but one of my boys, so they're 6 and 7, and they're at the age where they are losing teeth all the time. They're
Oh,
losing
this
teeth
already
all the time.
sounding good.
Yeah. And so my baby, well, my oldest baby, because they're both my babies,
Mm-hmm.
especially my oldest baby, I mean, all the fronts gone. And he decides he's very articulate. And so he's had a hard time enunciating with the fronts gone. And so everything, and but he's hilarious. Like his comedic timing is amazing. The commercial, what is it? It's like, oh, we bought this house, but it's full of ants, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like all the ants. And so we're sitting at the dinner table, and my husband says, "This doesn't taste right," and he says, "It's expired."
Oh my god.
Expired, like the commercial, expired, and it's expired. It's oh gosh, I like dinner was over. Dinner was over. Nothing else we could do. It was hilarious, but yeah, usually my laugh out loud stories involves them in one way or the other.
That's awesome. So if there's anything you want to plug or promote, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, yeah. You can find me on Instagram, the only queen of Zamunda. And on Facebook, I am official Aisha Kenyetta. I do the Motown Throwdown at the Charleston Poorhouse on James Island every Sunday afternoon from 1:30 to 4:30. And look forward to, I think we're doing Party at the Point again this summer,
Okay.
in August. So check the Charleston City paper. That'll be updated as we get closer. And yeah, just keeping it going. Check out anytime you want to know where I'm gonna be. If it's a public event, it'll be in the Charleston City paper.
Oh, you fancy. Big time.
I try. I try my best.
Well, Aisha, thank you for being on. This was a awesome to get back in touch with you and just to touch base and see what's going on in your world.
Thank you.
So appreciate y'all listening and or watching. Make sure you like, download, and subscribe to Since We Last Spoke with Danny Foxworth. And for Aisha and myself, till next time, y'all be good. Peace.